Hello guys, welcome to our new channel. Today I will show you the deck I used to get top 4 in the Greek Open Regional, which is Brand Despia, one of my favorite decks. I've been piloting it since 2022. So we start with 3 Aluber, the main searcher of the deck, standard. 1 Despia Tragedy to search Aluber. 3 Fallen of Albas, standard. You don't need to play 2, you always need 3 because most of the times you use 2 in the main combo. You play 1 Quem and 2 Cartesia. You only need 1 Quem, to be honest, because it is another normal summon and you mainly want to normal Aluber. This you can bring with Titaniclad, and because I play Branded High Spirits, you almost every time bring it from the deck, you don't need a normal. I use 1 Spriggan's Kit because, as I said, I play Branded High Spirits and is another Aluber. And you can also make a pretty good combo with Brand Retribution because this card searches this from the banished. And you can change this to the effect, so you take Branded Spell Trap from the graveyard and then you add it from the banished and you can use it again. And I play 1 Mercurier for the monster negate and a combo where you send this and Albaz for Endbroom if you have a Bestial in hand, so you search Quem and that's another line. I play 1 Lubellion. You only need 1 in this deck and it can search you your Bestials, and also you send it from Brand Fusion to make Albion and then you switch Albion with this and take Brand Loss from the deck and activate it. I use 1 Puppet, obviously, the win condition of the deck. And now I play 3 Albion, 3 Saronir, and 3 Branded High Spirits. This card with these monsters is 2-card combo almost better than normal summon Aluber most of the times, because you can play around draw by using it to the draw phase. You can activate Albion, sending a branded card to the graveyard and then chaining it, sending Albion and Titaniclad, and adding a Quem, so that's a way to search Brand Fusion. And I decided to play 3 Saronir because I want to respect the mirror match, since Puppet Lock is an insta-win. So I opted to play only these Bestials in main because this synergizes with the rest of the deck. And now on to the spells. I play, of course, 3 Brand Fusion, this is the best card of the deck. 3 Brand Opening to summon Aluber or sometimes Quem, and use Aluber to search Fusion to do your combo. 3 Fusion Deployment to special summon mainly Cartesia, but going second you can bait stuff like negates if you summon Albaz. I use 1 Brand Lost, this card is awesome. Your opponent cannot respond after you Fusion summon, and if you do a specific combo with Brand in red, you summon Albion the Sanctified Dragon in your opponent's turn, and in the summoning window, your opponent cannot respond to you Puppet Locking them. I use 1 Brand in white, which is really good if you get asked. You can search this with Kit or Aluber and play around it, because if you send with Albion or Brand High Spirits the Albaz to the graveyard, you can banish it and Fusion summon at least 1 Fusion monster. I use 2 Brand in red. Because I play 3 Albion, the Shrouded Dragon, you can send Albaz to the graveyard, and if you summon Aluber or Quem, if your opponent chooses to Impermanence, you can chain Brand in red and dodge it, but you will need another Brand in red in this case, so that's why I play 2. I use 1 Foolish Barrel to send Tragedy and add Aluber, this 1-card combo. 1 Call by the Grave for the hand traps. And now I use 10 Board Breakers. I don't play any hand traps in the deck. I use 3 Super Poly. This card is the best. It won every single game until round 5 in the regional. It was just awesome. 3 Thrust. If your Brand Fusion gets asked game 1, you can use it to set Fusion Duplication, and if you go second, you can search all kind of normal spells like Brand Fusion, Fusion Deployment, and etc. I use one triple tactics talent. You can search it mainly with thrust. You don't need more than one. This card came up plenty of times. It was pretty good. 3 Forbidden Droplet. I use this because it synergizes with the rest of the deck. If you send stuff like Albion or Saronir or Brand Retribution, you can get extra pluses on top of negating your opponent monster. And finally, I use one Brand Retribution, pretty standard, to recycle your brand cards. And it synergizes with High Spirits because if you send Saronir and Undead Albion, you can send this to the graveyard along with Brand Fusion and then search your Brand Fusion indirectly. Now onto the extra deck. I use 2 Albion the Branded Dragon. This card is your main fusion you want to go to with Brand Fusion turn 1. It has the best graveyard effect among all the fusions. You can set or add a branded card in the end phase to your hand or set to the field. Your main set is brand in red in your end phase to activate it in your opponent's turn. And it's really good because it's a high level Dark Dragon, so you can swap it with Lobelium and you can get extra pluses of this. I use Albion the Sanctified Dragon, only one of course. This gives your opponent puppet, but it's not only that because I didn't puppet lock many of my opponents in this tournament. I use it mainly to dodge evenly matched and maybe summon Albaz in my opponent's turn to quick fusion summon with his monsters. So it's very good, and it also in some matchups like Runic Standard, it's very good because it cannot be used as fusion material and it cannot be targeted. So it isn't the easiest monster to out since Runic spells target for removal. Same goes with Sky Strikers, for example. I opted to play only one Mirror Jade because I needed space to my extra deck to run a few more fusion monsters I wanted to. I will show you later. The second one, it wasn't really needed in this tournament. You can always recycle it with Quem Special Summon back, with Sanctifier Special Summoning back. You can recycle it with Lobelium, which I only play one. Lobelium is good against the stun matchups because you send your dark monsters to the graveyard and get extra pluses. If you're under Skildrin, for example, you have a special tech I will show you later. I run one Titanic Lad. This is your main send of Brand High Spirits because if you do the combo to search Brand Fusion, you almost always summon Albion. So you don't send the second one because you don't want to have both of them in the graveyard. So you send this, and later in the combo in the end phase you summon Quem. And it's also very good if you get nipped because this in end phase summons an Albaz, and Albaz fusion summons with the Nibiru, and your opponent has -1 card. I play 2 Grangrinol. This sends almost everything from the deck or extra deck to the graveyard. You can send your fusions if you are in a tough situation, but this mainly sends the puppet. The second one isn't really there to get summoned, it is there to get sent of Brand High Spirits, because you will need a second one for the High Spirits to send if you have a Cartesian in the hand, for example. The second one came in clutch in this exact situation, one game. I sent Cartesian and added Albion to win the game because I could recycle the Brand Fusion back to my hand. And it also has a very special grave effect because if your opponent special summon a monster by monster effect, you can banish it to either summon the Quirites or the Quem from your deck. That came in clutch twice and then won the game. Next, I have one Rimbrum. This is very good in special matchups, and it also needs one Winged Beast. So in matchups like Flu, for example, you have actually a super poly target with Albaz, and you can add some of their stuff. It also has a very special grave effect, where you can summon back Albaz in your opponent's turn and fusion summon with their monsters. And there is a combo, I'm not sure if you have seen it, but if you have a Beastal in your hand and you have Brand Fusion, but you don't have a Cartesian access, you send Albaz and Mercurier with Brand Fusion, and you use the Beastal to banish Mercurier, summon it, and Mercurier actually gives you Cartesian, and because you have Albaz in your graveyard, you can special summon her. So that's a very nice combo where it comes up some of the times. Now for the Despia fusions, I play one Despia Queritis. This is very good against some matchups like Therion, for example, or non-fusion decks, because it lowers their attack to 0 and it always beats negate going second. It also is a very good super poly target, because if you summon an Aluber and your opponent has a light or dark monster in his field, if he chooses to Impermor Veiler, for example, the Aluber, you can send super poly and make your stuff and dodge some interactions. Also Masquerade, very good for time, very good against matchups where they need to activate many effects like Flu or Snake Eye. And it also has an effect that comes back if your opponent controls an extra deck monster. It came up once and it actually won me the game, because they tried to attack me for game in time, but they couldn't because I brought this back in defense, and they lost because they had less life points. Now the monster I made room by playing one Mirror Jade is one Dracostapelia. I really needed to play one Dracostapelia because against some matchups the negation is actually better than a banish, and because you can only control one Mirror Jade on the field, you sometimes make both Mirror Jade and Dracostapelia, and I actually did against one Snake Eye player, which did win me the game. Now, one Borreload Furious Dragon, another amazing card. It can be a super poly target as it needs two Dark Dragon monsters. I actually used super poly to make this against Centurion because they had two Dark Dragons. And it's very good against Runic Stand because you can every turn quick effect pop one card on the field, and in combo with Brand Opening you can save your fusion monsters from destruction and only pop their card. Now another super poly target is Mad Dragon. I chose to put Mad Dragon in the extra deck instead of Garura because I thought in this format this will be summoned more times than Garura, game 1. And lastly, one Guardian Chimera. I made this 0 times in the whole tournament, but you still need to play it regardless, because against stand matchups, for example, you need to have another form of interaction. And now on to the side deck. I do play one Garura in the side deck because against matchups where Mad Dragon isn't viable, like Yubel for example, or Tempai, you need to play Garura instead. And also there's a nice tech you can do in matchups where Super Poly isn't good at all. You side out the Super Poly, send the Mad Dragon, and you play Garura, where you can send it with Grand Gnoll, draw a card, and then use Brand High Spirits to banish this and Talbaz, where you can make either Dracostapelia, Mirror Jade, or Inbroom, because this is a wing beast. Next we have 3 Nibiru. This was the best card because no one really respects Nibiru when you play Branded, because they think you will only play board breakers, not hand traps. So many Snake Eye players did their full combo without playing around it, and they got punished. Then I chose to play 2 more Bestials because I was afraid a little bit of the mirror match, and I really don't want to get puppet locked. I only want to do the puppet lock. So I thought this only 2 would be really good, 5 Bestials in total. Now a nice deck is Sadol Dragon, because I thought the only way for a Runic Stand deck to beat me was if they flip Skill Drain and they have Runic Fountain on field. So I thought if I use Brand Fusion to send Albaz and this to make Lubellion, I can chainlink 1 Lubellion, chainlink 2 Dragon to pop the Skill Drain, and then Fusion Summon without him able to respond with Freezing Curses, for example, because the Lubellion is already negated when it activates, and when the chain resolves, it's not. Now 2 Lightning Storm, 1 Duster. Now Lightning Storm weren't really there for backrow removal, they were there more for link monster removal, because the monster that beats this deck is Apollousa with 3 or 4 monster negates, so you really want to prevent that from happening. Duster never came up, I never really needed it, but I think you still need to play it. Now another amazing card in this side deck is Evenly Matched. It won me many games. No one really respects Evenly, and they don't side trap negates. So in this ban list, Baron and Savage were banned, so the Omni negates are very few, and the meta decks don't play Omni negates, so evenly almost every time resolves and it can win you the game. It also baits an early D-bearer, so if your opponent flips D-bearer before you actually commit to anything, you can play around it and set up a combo where you fusion summon your opponent's turn. And lastly, the two normal traps I use as trash targets is D-bearer, mainly for Tenpai, because Tenpai do play a lot of hand traps, and if you thrust for D-bearer, it's almost a skip turn for them. And then Daruma Cannon, because in my opinion, I didn't want to prepare for only the meta decks and then play against a Red Raptor, for example, and if they go first and put 3 unaffected bodies on the field, my deck cannot out it. There's not one card that beats unaffected monsters. So I thought of respecting these kind of decks, so I needed to play one. It also is very good against Tenpai, because the field spell makes them unaffected in main 1, and if you have this on field, they need to send the cards to the graveyard instead of flipping them face down. And because you play fusion deck, your monster is going to face down. It's not really an issue, because you can still use them as fusion materials. And yep, that is the main reason. I used it against one Snake player, and I flipped 4 monsters face down and sent 1 link away. So it was really good. Anyway guys, thanks for watching it. This is our first video in this channel. I'm really happy how the deck performed that weekend. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. This is our first video of the channel. The deck was really nice to play. It overperformed in my opinion. And yeah, thank you for watching. Subscribe and wait for next videos.